Hey everyone, thank you for checking out the channel. The Fl350 has made some changes, as you see. So what we're gonna do in this video is discuss the changes that we're gonna be making. You all let me know what you all think. Hopefully I get this one uploaded really quickly before I start really working on this thing. But I do have a few things done. I'm not really sure how I like them, how I don't like them, but we'll figure that, but let's talk about it. All right, so first off, what we have here is the frame. Got everything taken out of it, everything good. I do have one bolt yet that I still have to drill out and tap, but that one's got to come out, but everything else is out. Besides this one, I can't freaking get this bolt out. Super hard to get out, so I'm probably gonna leave it in there, tape over real good when I paint it, but we're gonna go that route. All the bushings and things came off with no problem. I did break one of the bolts off here. As you see, that's been threaded out and tapped, drilled out and tapped. But it's a lot of frame here. This is all together total about 7 foot long. I can't powder coat it here in my oven. As you see, it's only that big. I am going to get a bigger one, but when you're talking about an 8 foot oven, that's a bunch of different things. So we have rest of the frame here, top, we have the sidebars, and over here in the corners, we have the other 2 bars that I did blast already. So I have these blasted, so they're down to bare metal. So yeah, the decision has been made that I am gonna go ahead and paint this. I'm gonna try my best to do it right-ish. I'm saying right-ish right now. Reason being is because it's an off-road machine. And my kids are gonna be driving it. Rattle can will make it look nice and do fine. I usually don't like to do that, but I am thinking I'm gonna buy about 4 cans or 5 cans of red, recoat this red. I'm gonna blast some of the rusted corners, but recoat this thing red, primer the bare metal parts, and then clear it. Make it look nice and hold up a lot better. The gold is the other question that I have. I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do with the gold. I did buy a candy gold color from Prismatic Powders, and I mean, it doesn't, it's all right. I mean, here's the powder right here, and it's a candy gold, as you see. You got to put it over top of the super chrome, and I have a part that I'm going to show you here that I did in super chrome. I mean, it came out pretty good. Really no complaints with that. It went on, flowed out decently to be a powdered chrome, but then after that, you're supposed to put the candy color on it, and this is what I came out with. So I have these parts right here. The problems that I'm running into is I didn't think anything about these arms. The bushings, ball joints are not replaceable. I don't really know if I want to risk powdering them and freaking melting the tie rods. So the other option then is to Cerakote these. I don't know if that's gonna make it look tacky because all of these parts are already gold. These are gonna go gold. I'm gonna take these hubs over here apart, take the back off those. They're gonna get gold powder as well, or gold color as well. But I don't know if I should Cerakote everything the same color, or, because if I Cerakote this, it's gonna be a different color. This is just a comparison with the Cerakote and the powder. So I already have the motor out. Motor's been cleaned up already by the previous owner. No issues with it. Tons of freaking compression. But this is, I'm not sure, you know, how I feel about it. I mean, clutch and everything is going to go back on over there, but yeah, I'm not sure if I like it. And if the front control arms are that much off, I don't know how to make it look tacky. And this is going to be on there too, but yeah. This was my concern. Sometimes I like these things to be a little bit too nice, and then you get them to where you don't want to ride them, like my Banshee and my YFZ. So what I'm planning on doing is I'm going to Cerakote the fronts right there, as I've already stated, and we're going to get that all reassembled. The motor has the head Cerakoted. Cerakote goes up to like 1400 degrees. It'll hold up to the heat for sure, and it won't fade, and it has good chemical resistance, so it helps these things get cleaned off well. It's just a lot taking this thing apart and getting it back together. I am going to find out what I'm going to do with shocks. I guess people have done the work shocks. I'm not going to do the custom dual A arms up front, like on the TRX or something like that. That's a lot more than what I want to go into this thing. And it's gonna be a lot more expensive than what I'm wanting to be budget-wise, right? So we're gonna do this in red. Hopefully I have it painted in the next week, maybe 2 weeks. All the roll cage painted and sitting down. Then I'm going to get the transmission blasted here, soda blasted, and get it cleaned up, get all of that pitting and that black oxidation, and get that stuff off there as much as I can. Get the transmission and the motor put back in, get the clutches, get the belts lined up. Put the wiring harness and everything back in and just clean it up. Right here is a pile of black parts. A freaking huge pile of black parts. So in here, Cerakote, the exhaust, we have the steering wheel, we have the axles, they're gonna get Cerakoted. Everything else that I can get in this area is gonna get powder coated. And then we have the wheels here. They're going to get dismounted, blasted, candy gold. So I gotta order some more candy gold. But yeah, I mean, it's moving along. I tell you, to get that candy gold color right there, it took me 2 coats of the color on top. And just looking at it, I can see that it's not perfectly even. I mean, it's not uniform. There's light spots. I don't really know how to take care of that. But like I said, this is my first time doing this, and I'm thinking this is still going to turn out really nice. It's just a lot of freaking work. A lot more than a four-wheeler for sure, being that it's 7 foot long versus when I'm usually working with a frame on an ATV, it's only the 4 foot. And it's nowhere near as wide like this LTR that I'm going to be working on here soon. And I am trying to keep this thing budget friendly and not go over the top. So I'm looking at not having a whole bunch into it. So I've already bought a starter. Starter, great, no issue with that. Got the new one replacement, got it from Odd ATV, ORB, maybe ORV. I got it from there. I don't think there's a whole bunch. I have a box back here that has like bearings and things. I am going to figure out what I'm going to do with the carburetor. The carburetor that came on it is not factory. And if I can get it started with a starter and a not factory carb, that's fine. I'll just get out and choke it, start it, and then works that way with it. We'll figure that out as it comes. But I just want to let you all know where we were at with the LTR. I just want to let you all know where we're at with the Odyssey and what we're going to be doing. Hopefully, we'll be getting this thing painted in the next video. And once we have all the parts out here painted, we're just going to have a single reassemble video that I'm just going to go over roughly. Okay, it's not going to be like a crazy step-by-step. I do have a manual, but I'm probably going to just save my time and not go crazy with these torque specs. But, you know, hopefully at the very end, I'll be having a nice functioning machine. I'm going to have to find some kind of belly pan or something. I am going to put the, I think I'm going to put a razor seat in there because this seat is kind of no good. And you can get a razor seat and the belly pan for as cheap as, or close to cheap as, just a freaking seat cover for there. But yeah, all right, we're going to get rolling with it. So I don't know if I can, this is it up close. So I'm not sure how I like it.
These two
I don't think it looks horrible.
Would be to start by turning off Unit 2's boiler. And then if it was off, you could drop dynamite into the boiler itself and break up the blockage over the man-sized hole.
I mean, this is where that's going to butt in, so yeah.
You drained it,
not perfect, but that's the plan.
The blockage over the grinding mechanism.
You can go ahead and hit play. It ain't gonna hurt nothing.
However,
hey YouTube, coming at you again. We have the Fl350 sitting here. Dog wants to get in the video, but you know, basically what we're gonna be talking about is what we've gotten done to this machine in the past few weeks, what we got going on in the building, where things are, what the status of things are. You know, just going over the overview of the Fl350 build. Let's jump right into it. All right, Fl350 we have right here. So we did powder coat the rear wheels. Those are a Illusion Spanish Fly. So they're super glittery-y. A darker gold color than the arms up front, which are I think this is a super chrome with a, we'll go over what that powder is later. The shocks are going to get replaced. I am going to run with the Fox shocks or the work shocks. We're going to decide that. But I didn't do any of the hardware. I kind of just cleaned it up, and I just want it to be decent enough so that my kids are able to ride it. So the hardware is not secured in or tight anything, just kind of placed in there. Motor, transmission is just in there. I did clean it up with the soda blaster. It's not perfect or anything, so that's not what we're shooting for in this one. And we do have the mounts and things put back in there. I powder coated the back one. Didn't think about powder coating those. Just kind of wanted to get towards putting it together. We have the cage. I did paint it a cherry color, which is a Rust-Oleum paint. Once again, this is not meant to be showroom floor. This is meant to be something good, nice looking, but my kids are going to be able to ride it, and I'm not going to be super concerned about them beating them up or beating it out. Sitting on a freaking dirty oil bucket. Tires are what came on it, but we do have the motor and things in there. Let's go ahead and get up here to the motor and the other parts. Maybe you all can help me out. What do I have on wrong? My back shocks are going to be changed, but my back tires seem to be pointing out. Now, I don't think my arms are on the wrong side, but I don't have any slack in up here. I don't see any markings to say if it's left or right. Just have that guard right there. Same thing for the other side, but standing, right here where the front wheel is, the wheel just looks like it's pushed out, faced out. And the same thing over there. Let me know what you think. So before we get too far, this is the color that was on top of that super chrome. It is a candy gold color. Took 2 or 3 coats. It was a little bit hard to get the color that I wanted, but also we use the Glacier Gold Cerakote to Cerakote some of these parts that we have sitting over there, as well as the top of the motor. So this is the Cerakoted head, as well as the motor has been soda blasted and cleaned up, so it looks really good. This is an air cure Cerakote, so we did the hubs and the upper and lower arms. I did not want to powder coat those because I didn't know how these ball joints were going to hold up to the heat, as well as the mounting hardware for the brakes. So we're going to get these parts here. I already powder coated them once, but I didn't like how they turned out. So I'm going to re-powder coat these back the Spanish Fly. And we're going to get this back in here and see how all these parts are going to be looking when it's all dry. So here we are in here. All the Cerakoted parts sitting in front of the frame now. Got junk all over the floor, but we'll deal with that. Comparison to the colors of how it looked compared to how it looks now. I think it's going to turn out pretty good. My kids are going to love it and enjoy it. We're going to ride it around and beat the crap out of this thing. But I am trying to figure out what's up with my wheels. My alignment's a little jacked. So if I stand straight here and I come over, the tires don't look like they're going straight ahead. They look like they're super freaking turned out, but yeah, I got one. But it could be because the shocks aren't secured. Things aren't tight where they should be, so not super stressed over it if all that looks right. But the kid's quad's back here in the back. But yeah, let's get some more parts put on this and get it rolling. All right, so we finally have the front wheels on, and we got the tie rods down there. So all this is Cerakoted. I think it is a Glacier Gold with the Illusion Spanish Fly. Wheels are on, but the rears are off. So we took the rears off just because I put these trailing arms on upside down. It does change the location of the mounting hardware. So as you see where it's at, it's kind of higher up. So we need to just flip that over. And there's a shield here. Right there, that shield. Apparently it belongs on the upper side. So we got them on the wrong side. I went 50-50 just trying to guess to see which side. So we're gonna slide the carriers out real quick, get those moved over. The shocks aren't installed or anything. They're just sitting there. My new ones should be here today and we're gonna take a look at those. But yeah, let's get moving. All right, so I do have a bit of a mess going underneath here with parts and stuff, but we did get our rear shocks in as I stated. I did flip those arms around and this thing sits so much better. The wheels are not like cocked out all weird, and it puts the shock mount lower where it should be. But the hardware itself, this in the uppers are going to probably just, I'm probably going to put those on eBay or something, because I am going to be running these Fox Factory Series. I was debating between these and the Works, but people have good reviews with these. And like I said, I'm just trying to keep it as budget friendly, but I am waiting on the mounting hardware kit from Curtis Ramos. But right here is where these are going to sit, and I think they look absolutely wonderful. I ordered these from Poly Sports, I think that's what it is. The part number should be right up here. That's the one I'm using. It's the Fox 980-02-013. Yeah, I'm ready to, these are gonna look really nice. It looks like it comes with some kind of spacers and things already, but I'm gonna see what Ramos sends. Also, I put my steering stem up there. After putting it up there, I did decide that I'm gonna take that back out and powder coat it and get that all cleaned up and looking good, just because it'll look a lot better once, we get that done. And that whole steering column. I think he does a foot pan, so I'm gonna see about the price of that. I really don't have too many options, so we'll go from there and figure that out. But yeah, we're getting close. We're moving along with this thing. It's looking really good. It's big. It's real big. All right, so I decided to do a little bit of cleaning up. That did look absolutely horrible. So I took the stem off, took all the electronics that were in there out. I did sandblast it, powder coat this. So right here, there is a piece of plastic that comes out, and then like a little rubber bushing that had to come out. But then after that, everything is good. I didn't tighten these down because I do have a new foot pan that's gonna go in there. I put the brake lines and everything on. Everything just still needs to be tightened down. So eventually I'm gonna do that once I get the foot pegs in there, or the footwell in there, foot tub. So I blasted the master cylinder, put new windows in the left and the right side. That one's kind of bulging out. I might have to redo that one. Put new windows in there, as well as Cerakoted it black. So it looks really good from where we're at right now. So, like I said, all this is just pretty temporary for right now, just because I got to put the foot pan back in first. But yeah, we're gonna be getting the electronics in here in a bit. Hopefully get the motor in there in the back, and getting this thing closed, this thing buttoned up to where we're able to do something with it. So this is just where we're at now. All the electronics and everything are in there, but we can do this. All right, so next up what we got is I did take the factory springs off. I didn't do anything, but I just used some Scotch-Brite pads that I have right here, nothing crazy. And I just cleaned up right around here with the Scotch-Brite pad, and then I powder coated the spring. Everything else is just factory front suspension. We do just have it looking nice and clean though. All the wiring and everything is back as it should be, going up that side. All the cables going up this side. We do have to put a new shifter on there, knob. But forward, neutral, reverse, got all the electronics back. Everything wired. I do have a little water bottle there to try to give me some fuel, but we're gonna work on that later. Overall, I did check my compression. It is at 120, so I have good compression. I do have spark, so I need to just be figuring out what it is with the fuel. The fuel is where my issue is. I can't get it started for no fuel. So, all right, hopefully by the end of this video, we'll be getting it started, but this is what we look like. So this is what I get. So we go ahead and pull the motor back out. As you can see, I got tired of playing with it, and it turned out that my timing was off. The Woodruff key had sheared off, so it made it be firing at the wrong time. So out to Tractor Supply I went, got a new Woodruff key, got it filed down to be able to fit. It went in there perfect. And then after that, I reinstalled it, and then lo and behold, we get some action. There we go. So we put the exhaust on, my son and I. Got the exhaust on. I'm going to blast it and Cerakote it, get it looking clean. But we'll see if I can get it started without, I was going to have him record, but we'll see. All right, so we have the FL sitting right here behind us. Did do a good bit of stuff to it. As you saw, it does start, and we have that where it should be. So it starts and takes gas as it should. We're going to get a little bit of up-close footage. I did Cerakote the exhaust, and I did do gold on the heat shields that you see right there. We're just going to get up close and personal, take a look at it, and I'm going to show you the intake setup that I'm going to try to run. And then, hopefully we're good to go or getting closer to be able to get the cage finished. I don't think there's a whole bunch left after this. But let's just talk about where we're at now. All right, back to here. The exhaust, you saw what it looked like. Blasted, Cerakoted, having it looking great. Hardware isn't the best. I didn't go crazy on making this look new, but I just wanted it to look better. The shield is now the Glacier Gold. The rear shield as well, Glacier Gold. I just got to do a couple zip ties, clean up these wires. Got the battery wire running through here. I did put a plastic bag and a gasket right here just to keep water out of my intake when I sprayed it off. Just sitting here for right now, I do have my fuel pump. So that comes from down here on the side of the cylinder. There'll be pulsation that comes and it pumps the fuel. So the fuel will come in inside, pump, helps send it down here and keeps your motor from being starved of fuel. Got the brake line and everything all ran. I am going to be ordering a new shifter knob here. Not sure if I'm going to lift that up or not. I kind of want it up a little bit higher. We'll see. And we did get all that right there Cerakoted. Whole bunch of mess in the background. We're waiting on the floor pan. Once I get the floor pan in, it should be here Monday or Tuesday. Once that is here, I'll be able to get everything in here tightened down. There's no need to get this tightened down and work on bleeding brakes right now because all that's going to have to pretty much come disconnected in order to get the floor pan in. But once the floor pan is in, we're all good. I am going to price out me a slim light bar for up front. Get that all hooked in over here. I will be getting a front bumper at some point in time. But yeah, we're moving along, and I think this thing looks great. Got my kids' machines in the back. Got that CR250 that I'm going to be redoing. But yeah, let's get the next steps going. Hopefully in the next part of this video, I'll be getting the floor pan installed. I have that all in there. We're working on getting the brakes bled. Get the fuel tank on. I do have a fuel cell over here with the cap. But I'm just going to have to clean it up real good. Somebody put the return line right here. And the return line they put in was too long and it kept the cap from going down. But I'm going to clean all that up, get it all looking better. Let me get this all reinstalled. It does have the larger fitting down on the bottom, so it's going to give plenty of fuel. I'm pretty sure I could have ran this direct, but I wanted to be safe. We'll take a look at the intake that I'm going to be using. Right here, just a couple PVC fittings. Up to this, it kind of came with it, and this is what the guy was going to run. But my plan is just to have it with a boot of some sort right there. So intake, exhaust, and we should be ready to go with this thing. I want to look for some kind of cover, maybe a outerwear or something that might fit on there. That's just a cheap filter, but I am going to oil it and all those things. But yeah, we're moving along. All right, so we have it behind us looking a lot different. I keep on doing this, talking a little bit, and then deciding to flip the camera over. But overall, it looks really good. This machine is pretty sizable. It's not crazy big, but it's big. Got the front bumper and things that we're going to be buying new. But let's go ahead and flip this all around, talk about what's coming in the mail and what we got done today. All right, so today what we've gotten done is I did put a couple more lug nuts on the front just to see what ones I need to buy. I kind of like the solid closed ends that I usually run on like my Yamahas and things. But we're gonna see what lug nuts I need to get for that. The shocks are here. The bolts, I got a notification and the guy reached out and said that hardware is good. Hopefully we'll be having these things sent out by the end of the week. I do have new springs in the mail. 2 springs for here, 1 spring for there. I can't remember the exact sizes, but we're gonna get those on. I did powder coat the heat shield. It looked rough. I'll put a picture here of what it looked like. But I powder coated it and got it all on there just because I wanted as much protection as possible. As I stated, my children will be riding this. And I'd hate for somebody to try to reach in here and touch the choke and then mess up. Now, I do have a choke kit coming in the mail. Hopefully I can eliminate that and put it back up there on the front. But if not, it works here. Everything works well. I just have this bag here covering it up once again because I did spray this off. We have the stand here that was for the OEM airbox. I'm debating on getting one of those ones for ORV or the, can't remember, but I'll put the name here. Get one from them. They have this nice setup that has a K&N filter. I am debating on going that route. I kind of don't like the off-brand ones just because I can't put an outerwear on it. But, you know, do they work or do they not? For right now, I just have my fuel pump zip tied right here. What I probably will do is drill a hole, thread, and then put a nut zerk in there and see if I can get that to where it's more secure. I mean, it's super secure there. It ain't gonna hurt anything because that one's welded on. But there's that. I have the cage back on. Everything's cleaned up. Got to tighten these bolts here up. I got all the hardware that was in there, just those parts, because I didn't want them looking horrible. I did paint those black, as well as the nuts. We'll see if any of that stuff right there holds up. Got the anti-seize in there. Now, this is the fuel cell that came with it. The duct tape here is because they put like a tire valve. I'm not really sure how those hold up to real chemicals. I mean, they might hold up well. Who knows? I might look, but I do have a new valve coming in the mail that's going to be a return. So all this works. So coming from here, down the side of the motor, we have the pump. It pumps, it sends fuel, perfect. However, if you don't have the T and the pressure valve and that 3-way valve to feed back to the tank once the carb is full, you'll press fluid into it. And what you'll end up doing is overflowing your carb, flooding your motor out, and having fluid or fuel spill out the back, which is what I did. I just wanted to see if it was going to work. Hopefully the floor is here in the next 2 days, and then we got that on. As I stated, all this stuff is still loose. I have not attempted to bleed the brakes, jeez, just because that's going to have to all come off. I did put a new lever here. The other lever was bent. New lever here, the other lever was bent, and the bent one I ended up breaking, trying to straighten it out with some heat, and I fried my fingerprints off. I am going to be looking at doing that mod that people done here just to try to keep the oil out of the starter. I mean, I'm not 100% sure if that's necessary. Basically, Honda just stated that you fill it to the lower fill. Some people said that they've done that and still get oil going across. I don't want that, so I'm just going to keep on reading up and seeing the pros and cons. It doesn't seem like it's a huge upgrade or anything to do, but it might be one of those things that I just do and get done. Eventually, I'm going to be putting like the seat in it for the razor and all that. But for right now, I do have the other seat sitting right there. And we'll get that one installed after I get the floor and all that stuff in. Then we'll eventually get around to getting front fenders and rear fenders and all that. But I would love to be able to just get it rolling. I have measurements for the front crossbar here because I'm going to be putting a light bar up front. Kind of put it here and make sure it's facing out and not anything higher. I'm going to put some kind of brake light back there. I got to see what this wiring here goes to. I don't know if that's some kind of brake light that was originally there that I can tap into. I do got to finish putting my bushings and things here just so I can get this rectifier and things hung back up and as they should be. But I got a couple things left to do. Got to tighten some stuff down. Got to get my nets back on here. But yeah, we're looking good. We'll get all that stuff done here in a minute. All right, so here we are, got some things done today. So I did get the intake actually secured on there. I'm gonna take the filter off, and I'm probably gonna take this part off and just paint it. Maybe, we'll see how that goes. But I got my clamps on, 1.5, and I have the 90-degree elbow that's right there, so it comes right up. Plenty of air, which is great. Finally got the fuel pump all connected. I use the Napa 3011 filter in there. That's the one that people recommend for like the LTR 450 because it really filters down small microns and you can see it and all that. But the pump on top right here goes to the side of the jug, which feeds out some compression. You follow the arrows. This side comes in from the fuel tank. This side goes out to the carb. The T has the one-way valve in it. It goes up here. And I did order some fittings, but they did not fit. So I just put a tire valve right here, attach this to it temporarily to see how long it holds. If it holds, it holds. If it doesn't, I'll just replace it. But I want you to see how this works. When you start it, the pump will just keep feeding. I don't know if you will be able to see it. The fluid back into. Yeah, so that's cool. So the idea is that once the carb is full and the float comes up right here, will just block, it'll stop off this one-way valve and feed everything here, making sure you're not starved for fuel at wide open throttle. And as you saw, it does have some pressure going through there. I also did get an aftermarket linkage kit right here so I can go with my cable here on my choke so I can control that all from inside the cockpit. But as you see, it fires right up right now. I'm waiting on the floor. Once I get the floor in there, I'll tighten everything else in the front. I'll start getting the rear brakes bled and the front brakes bled. My goodness, that's like a tongue twister. And then we'll be hopefully moving this thing so I get the seat back in and whatnot. Yeah, I'm liking it. Like I said, everything in here is just pretty much hand tight for right now because that stem is going to have to come out for the install of the floor. All right, so we got a few more things done to the machine, looking absolutely wonderful sitting there behind us. Gonna, of course, get up close, take a look at it, talk about what we're gonna be having in the next couple clips. But yeah, I'm really excited. All right, so here we are. As you see, we're completely moving, no problems. As far as we go right now, I do need to get the front bumper. That's kind of last thing on my list. I am gonna tighten down the other couple of lug nuts that you just see sitting on there. I'm going to get new ones because I like the threads to be completely covered, as I just stated. But this right here, I got this bedpan you'll never guess. I've seen these things going for $1,000 on eBay, $300 worse on eBay. I got this one for $200 shipped to me. Great deal. I'm going to be looking for the plastic piece that's going to go over here. But as far as it goes, everything on the handlebars and everything work. I do need to get the grips and all that to keep your hands secure because if my kids ride it and they flip it, I want to make sure they keep their hands inside. Seat's going to be going in here in the next day or so. I got the Pro Armor harness. Got to tighten that down. The cage is just on there. It's not tightened down yet. You see, nothing's really, everything's still movable. Gas tank's on. Everything's good. I just put that little ice cream box right there just because once I was washing this and spraying it off, I didn't want the water to get right there on the filter with no outerwear. Brakes and everything are bled. I did put a rebuild for the master cylinder, so you squeeze the front, it definitely stops you. The rears I still have to do. What I'm going to be looking for is is there any kind of park brake upgrade that anyone's done. I know like on different razors and things, you're able to push like the foot pedal down. I just don't know if there's any way to like get it so when you squeeze these, they can like lock in. Let's see. I'm going to eventually be doing the fenders, but right now we're good. The rear caliper just has to be rebuilt. I've got new brakes coming. it leaks right there. So I'm gonna, right there, I got an upgrade coming, but overall I'm gonna be looking for a complete caliper if I can find one for a decent price. They're super expensive, and I don't wanna pay $300 for one. So if I can't find one for cheaper, I'm gonna run this one, no park brake. If I can, I'm gonna run with the park brake, but then the freaking park brake cable itself is like 50 bucks. Then the lever itself is another like 50 bucks. So that could be like $400 or $500. So, I might not even do it. But overall, we're good. I got a notification from Curtis that my hardware is being shipped hopefully today. So by the end of the week, we'll be having that done, and you'll be seeing new shocks on as well as the seat installed. I'm just gonna go ahead and get it started for now. Let's see. Key on, engine run. A lot different than what it did before. Yeah, all right, we're gonna get those next couple things done and we'll get it rolling. Same thing, gas and drive up there. Just be slow. All right, everyone, so you see that the FL350 is mobile. Boom, man, that sun hit me. And I drove it up into my shop. My son drove it up. So what we're gonna do now is just take a quick walk around it, really look at everything, and it's pretty much like it was before, but I'm gonna upload a little bit of footage of my son driving it. Nothing crazy, just up and down the road, and I'm super excited to have it, and I really do like it. So let you all have an opportunity to see it. Let you all a couple things that I did do that is kind of a little different, but you gotta do what you gotta do. Any of the issues that I have with it, I'm going to discuss that too. All right, so here we are. It sits pretty much just like it did before. Seats in, bolts are in to secure the harness. I don't like how the seat, it does have some cracks in it. I am going to get rid of it, maybe sell it, and somebody will be able to have some use for it, maybe get a new seat cover. But I don't like how they dip right there and hold water. I don't like that. Just be a pool of water there. I did put my front floor mat in here. I just set this in here to keep it from being all scratched up, but I need to get the front lower floor mount. I'm going to be in the market for a front bumper at some point here soon. The front brakes work decent in conjunction with the rears. So I have to understand that this is an 85, so 85 technology. So they use drums. I will decide if I'm going to upgrade to the discs in the front, but for right now, this all works. I still did leave the ice cream bucket on there. Surprisingly, it does work and it didn't melt back there. And that's just going to be able to keep rain and stuff off of it. And it's just going to be an easy thing just to kind of monitor or have. Fuel tank and everything's good. We have the lever here, lift up, push forward. And there you're in forward, lift up in the middle, neutral, lift up, pull back, you're in reverse. Everything's good on there. Right here, the bolt was stripped. So what I ended up doing was just getting another bolt. And then I ran it through to a nut on the other side, which kind of sandwiched it in there. And that nut is one that was big enough to fit here. So if you ever want to look for a replacement or anything like that, I use this nut here to be able to secure that bolt back there. We have the Fox shocks on the back. I mean, I really do like it. My son really likes it and it's good. But we're going to be concluding this one up. All right, everyone. So if you enjoy this kind of content, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Turn on the notification bell. Hopefully in the future, I do be uploading me some footage of the Fl350 being in use. But it's going to be something that I'm going to be keeping, and I'm really excited about this one. So next thing I'm going to be doing is working on this Raptor 700 I have behind me. But overall, man, the FL is big, and it's nice, and it's going to be getting used. Hope you enjoyed a little bit of footage of my son riding up the road. First time riding it, he didn't really, spare the throttle. So here we go.